Have you ever been somewhere and you completely lose it? You click off safe, as we used to say in the military, and the next thing you know, you're saying something and doing something that you regret. Has it ever occurred? I know it has for me. Now, what has taken place? Inside of the executive function of your brain, which is located in the frontal lobe, you have experienced inhibition control, where you actually couldn't control what it was that you were going to do. And in that function, you actually have the ability to tune things out. You do. I'll give you another example. I used to go to Starbucks when my daughter was in school. I would drop her off, and then I would go to Starbucks or Leone Cafe in the morning, and I would sit and read my book. And the music was playing, and there were people talking around me, and I would be able to tune it out. And I got familiar, started talking to some of the regulars, and they would come up to me and they would say, "Wow, you always have a book. How are you able to read with all of this going on?" And I would say, "I just tune it out." At the time, I didn't know that I was actually executing inhibition control, but I had the ability to say, none of this matters around me. I need to get my reading done. Inhibition control allows you to tune out what is taking place and focus. It also stops you from saying and doing things that you'll regret in the future. The executive function is located in the frontal lobe, and that's where all of your logic and all of your reasoning and decision making and muscle memory and muscle control is all located there. When you are in control, it means that you are tuning things out. Having a conversation and it goes left and you don't want to participate, you enact your inhibition control. You respond versus reacting. Now, what happens if you pop off, if you go off and you lose it? Now you've gone to the limbic system, and now your amygdala has been hijacked, and now you say something or do something, you go, uh-oh. So you didn't control what was actually taking place. The more you learn how to hold yourself personally accountable, the more you can execute inhibition control. The more you learn about your brain and how your brain functions, the more you can execute inhibition control. You get to control what is happening around you because you are wiring the neural pathways of your brain to personal accountability. You're staying in the frontal lobe, so you're remaining focused and calm, and you are in full control of your brain and everything that is taking place. You have to learn how to tune things out. The more you hold yourself personally accountable, it's simpler to do because you are focused on being your best. So you can't be your best and your worst at the same time. You can't pop off and go off and sit in a cafe and read at the same time. It's impossible. So when you make these daily choices to hold yourself personally accountable day in and day out, your first response is best. What is the best way to handle this situation? Do I react and act a fool? Or do I respond and say, oh, I'm going to stay in the executive function of my brain. I'm going to remain calm. I'm not going to say something or do something that I'm going to regret later. You tune it out. And if you can leave, you leave. But the last thing you want to do is allow your amygdala to get hijacked, institute a fight, flight, freeze, or appease response, and then later go, why did I do that? Holding yourself personally accountable every single day and then holding everybody around you personally accountable minimizes the ability or inability for you to stay in control of what's taking place. When you can tune it out, you come out with the best outcome, and that's best. Holding yourself personally accountable daily has so many benefits. You get to be in control of what's actually taking place. So begin to do it. So when something shows up, you go, uh-oh, that's inhibition control right there. If I lose it and I'm going to regret this later, I'm not going to make that decision. But it happens when you are waking up every day, setting and maintaining high standards, being the best, reading 15 minutes of nonfiction every single day. When you are implementing and executing the 74 principles of real leadership, it supports your inhibition control. And when you are not, you're going to pop off every time something goes off. And that's no bueno. So tune it all out. Stay in inhibition control. Stay in the executive function. Stay in the frontal lobe so that you can access your best day in and day out. Got it? Good.